distributions, and welcome to Shanghai. We are talking about MOUZ versus MongolZ Mohan, two of the youngest teams at the major, head-to-head in the opening game in a packed house here in the arena.
Yeah, and we don't even get that rematch on Mirage, which is really interesting. I think there was a lot that happened in this veto based on what happened in the elimination stage, and I think we've got a great veto out of this. I mean, being able to see Nuke and the full series versus with two teams that we know they understand each other but don't actually clash that often. We get to kick it off here on Ancient, and in this veto, we always knew that this would be the easiest map for the Mongols. Let's see if they can translate that to success.
Mongols kicking it off, immediately sat outside of that A site. A little bit of presence up in main, and MOUZ, there's a curious note about the fall off of all the stars. Those stats brought on screen by our analysts before the game goes live. The statistical anomaly that is the playoffs drop-off. It is the guillotine that sits above their heads every time we talk about them. But what about that, huh? How about a tap to the face here in middle? Two kills out for Xertion. Easy first blood. It is still, though, that entry into the A-bomb site, so a little bit of space. And the bomb's been freed up from that mid-play. Although, you lose your donut push, and suddenly Mongols probably feeling a little bit corralled here on site.
Yeah, this round's a little bit harder. Shuhei getting tapped down means he's got three teammates in Donut that just are really desperate to try to help out, but don't really need to get into this mix. Senzu pushes for space, and you know what? It becomes awkward for Shuhei with the amount of health left over, and now it does come down to those three players left. Have MOUZ sat too pretty?
Finish off that deep play.
Man, this mid-round's actually really strong for the Mongols, but this kill is what matters the most. And now we've got an escape route out the back door.
Look at him go, trying to run through spawn.
He fought his way back in.
Collect the kill from the departure. It's going to put Brolin into a clutch.
Brolin, he desperately wants to get here as soon as possible. This won't be spotted for the moment, and with the bomb plant going down where it is, it's possible Brolin can sneak.
Fires off. Now they know about it. Crossfire soon to be set. He pushes in instead. Oh, and the Berettas fall. 2v4.
2v4.
From the Mongols in the pistol. And you could just feel that moment on A site where they were squeezed, but then there was this hesitation from MOUZ like things were going too well. They exit out through spawn.
And the fact that Mongols could identify that weakness with where all the CTs were in that moment is really impressive. The fact that they put pressure on Shuhei, but then also hit the shots to create that backdoor exit through CT spawn, that's what really gave this legs. And honestly, it felt like MOUZ for a bit were doing the right thing. But as we can see again, Mongols identified this one gap and picked on it.
And a nice slow pace to it all. Squeeze water from Stone to pick up pistol, instantly going to dismantle this mid setup, and this is something that comes in with the buy. MOUZ trying to make the most of.
I mean, the audio quality analogy from Maui was perfect in terms of describing what kind of CS we get out of MOUZ in situations like this. Now, I'll say that, you know, they've had an excuse or two when it comes to some of their big games in playoffs, and sometimes they have played in front of the crowds and even won. They just haven't been huge. I wouldn't be surprised if MOUZ could play well today, but when you start off with a 2v4 on a map that you're already weak on, you knew was coming, you're not giving yourself the right talk.
Gut-wrenching. You know, the conversation about MOUZ on playoff, if I were to just tell you that there is a team out there, right, with no label of it being MOUZ, that made top 4 in Katowice, that made top 4 in Cologne, that came second place at IEM Rio, you'd think to yourself, well, that's definitely going to be a tournament contender. And yet, once you slap that big red sticker on top of those standings, there is this just bad omen that comes with it, and you put it all in question. Well, but you know,
it becomes dishonest to not compare playoff games to playoff games and stadiums to stadiums, especially when the stats are starting to become more and more of a conversation that is just a true fact for MOUZ. And as for the Mongols, a team who are also very young, and they seem to get younger with every new iteration of the lineup. They also haven't played in front of that many big crowds, but they have also taken some small chips. They have played a fantastic elimination stage, which honestly, that was the size of a major grand final in the early years of CSGO. Sure. There were a lot of people in the crowd, you know?
Yep.
I think Mongols have had moments where they look stressed out. I think in their game versus MOUZ in the elimination stage on Mirage, there was a 4-round period near the end of the game where Blitz had to make every good play. And then when his team went to overtime, that's when everyone else started chipping in again. But they did look nervous a little bit.
Certainly. Yeah, I mean, people can't forget that map, that best of one, they were 2 rounds away from just straight up losing their chance at going 3-0. They were 2 rounds away versus Heroic from also losing that best of 3, if not to extend it from Anubis into the 3rd map of the series.
Which obviously says 2 things. They played hard teams, played well, but still almost lost.
Sure. And so now we talk about them coming into playoffs like they really are untouchable and going on this godlike run. And with a 3-0 start now, cleaning up versus these unarmored USPs, yeah, it's exactly where the Mongols would have hoped to be.
It's interesting that MOUZ aren't playing Ancient often. It's a map that they were the best at with this core of players at one point in time. They loved to play on Ancient, but recently, in their very small sample size, they have an absolutely abysmal T side, and we haven't even got there yet. MOUZ are looking for an excellent start to the day. That means here on the rifle round with Torzy on the op.
The defining moment of MOUZ at major playoffs was this core beating Cloud9 on this very map in Rio. They will have to tap back into that now with the first gun round. Pistol slipped through your fingers, time to reclaim what was supposed to be yours.
You know, Maui brought up exertion specifically, and he's the one who has the frag.
Beautiful kill, Mac 10.
You can't lose to a Mac 10 from that distance.
That's why Jimmy's going to pick up the slack. Able to hang on to the Heaven Peaks. Instant call from Shuhei to come and join him, but that doesn't deter Mzinho at all.
Look at the gap. Shuhei tried to check the right side, and Donut is left wide open. So the CTs are going to peel back. No way that Mzinho walks through this.
Insane. And he gets the kill despite having Galil over AK.
Did he know that they were actually nervous about Donut, and that's why he pushed through the smoke? They came to check on him. He wasn't there.
A second jackknife opening. A prospect of it if Mongols can reclaim this one as well. 2v4 in the pistol, 3v4 here in the 4th round of play. If they can sink their teeth deep into this A site. It's a flashbang for the lane that opens the door for Bomb to cross, but as it hesitates, there's a duel here for the Oppers, and 9-10 versus Torzy will be a conversation as this game goes on. It was key back on Mirage when they last met. Mzinho finding himself the last man standing. He is off to a fantastic start this game, 5-1.
Be careful. Where's that bomb at? Right in front of him.
Just scooped it up. And as he comes back with now an AK, that's 2 kills in this clutch.
Don't make another mistake, MOUZ.
Oh, God, this shot's so close. Able to get back into the smoke. Mzinho tries to chase him. He's created a chance for him to put bomb down uncontested. He scared him off this bomb site.
And the molly's up. Going to put pressure on Torzy to make a move. You know he gets antsy. Has Mzinho set the mousetrap?
Tries to keep himself down behind box. At some point, he's going to take that peek. And when he does, it's a win from him. 3v1, and they let this round slide too.
Oh. 3v1 in front of this crowd. MOUZ are going to be looking at each other, looking around. A 4v2 and a 3v1 in this match already, 4 rounds deep. Mzinho sets the mousetrap. You know, we could have watched that from Torzy's POV, and it could have been even more damning. That was either a shot he was supposed to hit easily or a hard flick that he missed if he was holding the left side of default. But talking about players that MOUZ are going to have to rely on, Torzy has been their most impressive player in terms of improvement this year. That is a brutal sign. I mean, that's...
Miss smoke as well. CT's miss smoke. Opens the door for Blitz to tap away into the red room. Early errors.
I think Mongols and Heroic were the 2 most impressive teams to come out of Elimination. You know, Heroic had a little bit of a longer route. They had to eliminate Na'Vi eventually to get there, as Mongols clean up here. And I think part of the reason that Mongols won is because although they got nervous, they beat their nerves in the game. Heroic too. Every time a clutch happened versus Heroic, they bounce back the next round. MOUZ have to be looking at rosters like this and thinking, why can't we do that?
Shuhei in the middle though. Ooh, it's a good chance with the deagle kill from Brolin simultaneous. Just too many options, however, for the Mongols. Evacuation plan put in place with red control. And we get this wide swing to just keep Brolin's hands busy. He will indeed collect another. That's blitz down. And the bomb had used that chance to sprint into the A site, which actually divides the remaining Mongols members.
Yeah, Zinho really has to take his time here because he doesn't know how Brolin's going to play it. Now,
you know, we can get excited about the Brolin clutch prospect, but the odds are that flank behind him eventually arrives. A smoke in sight, but it's red.
Oh.
Brolin perfectly piecing this together, puts pressure back on 910. And as he taps that bomb once.
Oh, 910 carefully walking through, just hoping that it's a fake.
And as he holds that Glock in hand, Brolin's going to get back on it.
stick.
910's about to walk out, and he gets it with the tech. Upgraded pistol makes the difference. It's a denial of Brolin despite his clean read.
Yeah, man, that was a solid read on the flank. The timing was honestly perfect from Mzinho with the amount of pressure coming down, the smoke coming out. He gave that a quick look in the right second, but 910 plays it to perfection. Could have got nervous himself and have flown through that smoke. But as we can see from that last round, MOUZ were working with the bare minimum. They had a couple of guns. And Brolin's D was not enough. Now we see Blitz sometimes sneak through the elbow smoke. And this time he won't get away with it.
Regardless of the round loss, though, it's a good early sign for MOUZ that they've got a little fight in the X Factor. And they go right back down to the bottom of mid, opening kill in the gun rounds.
You got to be very careful here if you're Brolin, because in a 4v5, yeah, it looks like
here's the exec.
The exec is coming.
Full-blown, 3 pieces in position. Mongols open up the smoke on the top of ramp. They'll disrespect that util. CTs do the same. Zershin, clean headshot onto Techno. Peels from the gunfight. Mongols not finding footing in sight just yet, but in a moment these fights are going to face them. And if we've seen anything so far from Mongols, it's once that bomb's down, that's when they pack their punch.
Did a good job scaling, but this should be a very viable retake here for MOUZ. They've got good positions to do it.
Oh, now wallbang will certainly help, but those two players nigh line up. 910 on the fallback, cleaned up, and it is MOUZ with their first round win.
Wow, it's good to see them win a round that they're supposed to. There's a few situations in this game already that could have gone their way, and I don't want to have to recount them now, but we're talking about a match that has already had multiple man advantages. This could have easily been a scoreline that's 5-1 in favor of MOUZ, straight up. But that's not to say, though, that when we had low material for Mongols, they weren't finding cool ways of winning. That pistol round was excellent in terms of the communication and how they hit their shots and everything else. But there's still some have to play here.
Of course, it's just 2 signs of life from MOUZ off the Brolin attempt in this gun round. Adamant's about keeping the pressure up on elbow. And Shuhei yet again going to come through that cave smoke, playing on the opposite side.
Yeah, and this is Mongol style, is to use tactics that are spawn-based to get any early advantages that they can that are very low risk. Well, oh,
good positioning.
Yep, okay. No flash eaten there. That's another 5v4.
This could continue to end up being a position for Shuhei to exploit, but it's one thing to find an opening, it's another to get away alive, and Senzu makes sure that that doesn't happen.
Yeah, and he's responsible for the bomb. Won't be any lurks on his part. Obviously, we can see from the Mongols, they're gearing up for what looks like a full A play, but
donut smoke comes down, and that donut rotation is what actually freed up Torji to take the AWP off the line.
As an extra player towards B, can Jimpak get anything out of this? He's usually very good on these timing spams.
Thing is, Mzinho's already deep sight. Anchors in behind that sight box. Brolin looking to be flashed up through CT lane. He gets contact and takes one with him. But they don't know about Mzinho. And if they come out through that donut smoke unprepared, we'll see if they can keep the pressure up. Oh, it fades. Oh, the lineup.
Come on.
Oh, third.
That's a sneaky Mzinho. Behind default, they had no idea.
They let him slide in, and he sends him soaring.
Bruh, what a play. I mean, the fact that they tried to put the bomb down that late after the donut smoke went out, as you can see, when it went cascading over the site, that's before they had even exited main. That smoke takes a long time to land. But then they even gave it so much extra time after that. Molly came down on default, and it was almost as if they just wanted them to come out of donut to fight that plant.
Xertian's going to have to start taking this game into his own hands. One kill towards elbow will not remain enough. Blitz has found the opening. There's a lineup for him in response, and Techno now fully blind. Pressure's on from Shuhei. Again, fight fire with fire. Senzu dead to the MP9 push.
Oh, okay.
And it's MOUZ to get bomb possession. Now they found it.
Whoa, so much came down to that one kill. Now the round resets in a big way. You've got 9-10 working from the back lines. Torzy for a moment was cognizant of this big flank, and honestly, 9-10's moving with quite a tempo here. But I think by the time he gets down the ramp, they'll start being worried about his position. Let's see how tricky he can get.
With the amount of X-Factor Mongols have brought to this map so far, it's going to be a drop in the bucket for 9-10 as far as he's concerned. Counter-terrorists give him a ton of space. And as that clock hits 40 seconds, he's so uncertain as to all these corners, but as he steps through the door, it is clear. He reads it!
Oh my God.
And he's going to know that that second defender's got to be elsewhere. Takes a glance before going to scoop up bomb, just ensuring that a smoke can guarantee if they doubled up in CT, that won't be problematic.
And the way they played it, they were really worried. But at the moment, there's no chance for a plant on the other side of the map. If no nades come out, they might be worried about this. He's thinking that they're playing it together. Okay, Torzy will grab this. It's the individual 1v1s. That makes it a little bit scary for MOUZ, but as we can see from the Mongols, they assumed they wouldn't try that. And so last round that follows this, we've got a similar situation. Last round we had an MP9 in the hands of MOUZ as they picked up their first round. The 2K spray down from Exertion was picture perfect on elbow. But they're still broke. The Mongols, however, have nothing to try to damage their economy with. This should be a chance for MongolZ to stabilize. Okay.
Should be. We're only going to keep that pressure up, off on the line towards ramp. They sensed an opening off of the kill, and they will double down on it. Mzinho scaring the Opper further back. Certainly he can't continue this tear. He is 12-4, hits the ground, but does prime Senzu to try and get in there with the Glock. Brolin going to pick up the pieces of that initial Shuhei death on the FAMAS. And so MOUZ will make the most of the moment and collect versus Pistols.
Yeah. It's two great shots, and that's actually a pretty successful round for the Mongols with the digs they had in play. With the buy coming in here, again, MOUZ's economy is still teetering, and they need to desperately recover this half. They're already going to be below par going into their T side, which we know they're not confident in. You have to assume in a matchup this close that no map can be free. But as it stands, we have to find out why MOUZ will be able to win Ancient, because it doesn't seem like they should be able to. Mongols have shown a great Ancient.
Feels like so far, if there is any answer, if there is an open road for MOUZ, this consistent pressure coming out from Exertion in middle, whether it's on elbow or as we've seen him climb up into heaven. There's no world where MOUZ can afford the statistical drop-off that Xertian brings to the table. Of all the players that struggle on the stage, his statistics show the worst. And yet he plays that key role. No contest in mid. Stark contrast to that forward positioning we've seen out of MOUZ in recent rounds. And so no surprise to me that the Mongols come barreling at mid, 4 players deep once the smokes fade, but they find nothing in terms of contest.
They just got so much information. Now what? Oh my gosh, Torzy just close to getting shouldered. Without seeing anything inside of middle, that you know that it's a lean one side or the other. So some of that utility comes out to clear out the close positions. But what actually happens now is a rotation back to mid. This is a cute idea from the Mongols. They know that the CTs weren't playing here a second ago. And look at the CT scrambling around the perimeter of the map.
Yeah, last time they came in late, and we saw what Mzinho was able to do from inside the site pocket. Mongols decide to smoke off red rooms themselves.
If they want to pierce through middle, they're going to have to do this fast. And Brolin doesn't go down with this. It's 3 players through A. Let's see if he gets spotted. We've seen some shaky sprays from him, but this map has been good.
So he sits tight in this corner. Down to the 20 seconds will go. There's more util, and he peeks in as the nade is being primed. Is it enough? Xerxion's going to know there's pressure on both sides of sight. That mag's already down to 14, so keeping it clean while blind, that's huge. He's got the support of Jimmy right behind him, and it's looking like Xerxion, despite not starting the round in mid, will be good to go.
Round's not over.
Plants bomb, Techno holds
Be careful.
flank. And as he falls to the last member left, he is going to instantly try to transition this back around through Temple.
The bomb is planted for CT. He could play it from either direction.
And they're not any wiser. They're not looking this way yet. The timing's a T. And as Techno takes one off.
Oh!
It is another 2v4.
And if you're not into Techno, it's time to join the club because he had some low performances in the elimination stage, but here he is in front of the biggest crowd ever, putting together a round like that.
The ideas here from Mongols are flowing. The answers are easy. But Xerxion trying to dive bomb onto the site like that just to try and stop the planter, open the door for Techno.
That was silly. That was not thinking about the Mongols preparing other options in response. That was sort of tunnel visioned on one idea of, let's just make sure we stop this bomb, guys. We don't want to have to deal with a post plant.
We could talk about MOUZ trying to find an answer on Ancient specifically.
This is going to be
mistakes like that will be problematic all series long, regardless of where we're doing combat. And you added in now, that's not just an anomaly. These are rounds are happening. They are crumbling MOUZ's hopes of stealing away map 1. And the sting that they will leave on MOUZ in this series cannot be understated.
No, because the thing is they come in and they get man advantages, they get 3v1s. They have favorable positions in every round, which means they're actually prepared for the map. It's an even bigger mark on the record when it comes to their performances in stage environments. It is still Ancient, so it's not their perfect comfort zone, even though I kind of don't understand that, why there aren't more Ancient performances in their veto. But there's still the rest of the series. But as it stands right now, I think a lot of people's questions are being answered, and that's something that MOUZ can't think about. It really is a lot about staying focused on the goal of winning and not what it means if you lose, right? If you keep trying to relitigate that inside of your own head, that's when you start to crumble. The definition of choking is teaching yourself something that you already know how to do live.
Going to try to remain adamant about the mid play as 9-10 takes a glimpse into B. Would have seen that trajectory, reads it like a book. Roland buried under the pressure, and it's an instant flood off of the back of that from Mongols. So the solution was so quickly put in place, and MOUZ hanging on for dear life as Mongols just tear through these bomb sites round after round. They are in it with conviction. Shuhei desperate to find something to pull on.
And look how much
attempts to reopen sight.
Just how much extra utility they have because they came in off that one pick from 9-10.
Just the nature of the pressure into the cave, just dogpiling Shuhei behind that box as they're already planting bombs and sit 3 players ahead of the CTs. There is nothing for MOUZ to grab as this CT side falls off a cliff, tumbling towards the broken hopes of furthering playoffs in Shanghai.
18-7 is Mzinho, and Techno with a great game to start as well. Again, Techno can be comfortably at the bottom of the board as he was when they played against MOUZ on Mirage, and the team can still win because he'll play B. He'll have a quieter position. But if he can get a big clutch like he did and hit some of the shots that Mac 10 kill on Exertion in the first rifle round, this is when Mongols are at their absolute scariest. So it definitely looks like they've risen to the challenge of the stage, but they're here to do even more. I think Mzinho's Steam name is No Girlfriend Till 2028.
Oh yeah, full focus. Mongols played this honestly with swagger, right? You could see that they felt or smelt blood in the water in all these instances. Some of the hardest rounds versus them. end up just being an opportunity to paint a masterpiece here on the stage.
I think they played that like a practice game. You know, I think I didn't see any pressure at all.
Sure.
And so much clutch. So this is the tough part for MOUZ. This is actually supposed to be their worst side by a huge margin. Again, this wasn't always the case. The stats are very small, and a low instance of Ancient Games is a weird thing to see for a team like MOUZ with players like Shuhei, Xertion, Torji, So we'll see if those were just aberrations or not as we get into this half. But don't tell me they don't need this pistol.
You give it a chance to just charge down through. Donut smoke won't deter them. Beretta's finding its first. Zinho showing no sign of slowing down. Traded out by 910 as CT footing insight looked good for a moment. But it does end up getting swept away. We have a response out of MOUZ at the very least. Second pistol's theirs for the taking.
Lean. Don't have to get that into a prolonged late round situation. So with the T-pistol picked up, at least now they have a chance. Without that, you would think how? How could they do this? Nothing upgraded here for the Mongols at all. No. There aren't like 4 MAC-10s on this round, so 2 or more players is going to sting here for MOUZ. But with guns like this, you can hit shots like that.
I'd say after the context of this first half, Mongols are excited about a round like this because it's just another instance to show us they can win one at a disadvantage. You can't put your finger on a moment there where MOUZ, despite an edge, had Mongols out of a round. Oh, they're lucky that one of the 3 rounds back in that first half they're able to play versus pistols. As you'd assume, this one goes down smooth. Mongols just forfeiting that B site. Gives MOUZ a small chance to gather themselves. There was a lot of talk about confidence and mindset coming out of Xertion from the HLTV interview going into this matchup. And when pressed specifically into that interview about not just this idea of, being in a good psychological state, but genuinely what will change that will disprove this trend of falling off in playoffs. He didn't have a solid answer.
Yeah, I usually think that this has to do with the leader, but when I think of Shuhei, I don't think about that at all, in terms of his performances. Like, we saw him as runner-up at Paris, with at the time, a very random team.
Think about Cyclone being able to obviously bring MOUZ from what was just a ragtag group of teenagers to at least their ability to win in the Academy Leagues.
4 times.
At main events. And then the addition recently this year of Zipex. If you can surround them with players who know how to win, that is the formula MOUZ are obviously trying to put into place.
The guy who has shown the least pressure in the most high-pressure situations, probably consistently throughout all of CS history. Zipex, the ultimate clutch player.
Tap his brain and inject it into the members of MOUZ. That's the game plan. But here we go. First gun round at hand for MOUZ to try to contend with, and it's a miss smoke from the defense to start.
That one's Shanghai, Connor.
Okay. Burning that on a quarters. No, nice grenade coming out of MOUZ. That one's perfectly timed. It'll deal with Senzu. Highest rated member of Mongols coming into the playoffs at the major. Leaps and bounds above the rest. Luckily, leaning on young Zinho to kick it off today.
Love to see moments like this from Techno.
Mid-kill through the red room. That's a red room smoke spam out of nowhere for 910. MAC-10 up next. Luckily for the T's, traded out by Brolin, and they can try to transition into this hit, but 910 is everywhere.
They're getting mauled.
He is on top of them from red into the B play. 3 kills deep for 910, making it look easy as the Mongols gun round turns this T half upside down.
Damn, was that supposed to be a scary round for MOUZ? That single Molly tried to push Techno back, and they were meant to catch him from the player at the top of Banana, but he actually stood on what looked like a very scary angle, ended up being an off angle to fight Cave, and did not fall back enough to be seen from Banana. It was a perfect play from Techno. Obviously, he's trusting his aim right now, again, because he's had a very good day. And with that, Mongols easily get 10 rounds. They're really not doing anything interesting there. They're playing rotator spots and waiting. MOUZ bring this back, forget everything that we said in the first half. It's really going to come down to, you know, what happens over the course of an entire map, not what happened within it. If it was about what happened within it, we'd bring up the fact that Mongols nearly choked MOUZ when they played on Mirage in the elimination stage, but we don't because they ended up winning the game.
Nade could have been much worse here for Xertion. Continuous flashbangs coming up from his teammates so that he can try to take this duel. But he dodges out on 47 health. Not what he would have wanted out of the round. Luckily, Shuhei picks up slack to guarantee no climb up. And MOUZ have put themselves in an establishing position. Brolin dancing on death's doorstep with that wallbang. He invited it.
Time.
And 75 damage comes back out the other way. Blitz slides down under box to be covered here from top mid.
The late crawl is crazy from Blitz, and he puts himself in very aggressive spots. But minute 10, he falls back. Techno looking for this duel one more time. Shuhei desperately wants to draw out his utility.
Another bit of contact made here. There's definitely chances for MOUZ to be hitting headshots, but they're simply not.
Oh my God. And Techno gets into a much cozier position.
Damn
Three
right.
players inside B now.
It's a strong Mongols commitment, and they're about to be tested, but Shuhei at the helm of the charge, and Senzu peels away while he can. We're going to get the util coming out from MOUZ to try and guarantee them positioning on site. But again, the pressures has been kept up. Spam all across the map, through walls, through smoke, so be it. MOUZ fighting their way into a post plant, but at what cost with this HP?
The plant is huge because we're looking at low utility on the retake. 9-10, one flashbang, that's it. If MOUZ are going to lose this round, they're going to fail some gun duels.
I like the spot from Brolin, but he does it on 24 health. And Blitz is going to do the slow burn. When he comes around that corner, though, if he finds timing, you could get Torzi just blasted off of the top box. And, oh, it's from the site that it goes down. Even better.
Perfectly timed.
Brolin gets his one and turns around to try to hold. They know that he's in here, and he's going to have to fight from inside the corner, but locked in.
Wow.
Mongols to 11.
One flashbang, and that's all it took to distract two MOUZ players at the bottom of Banana. They went to look for the fight the top of it, and Blitz used that one flashbang to peek. That play wins the round. B is very retakeable. It's not as if this is a massive failure out of MOUZ, but with the time remaining, they were very much in the realm of being able to delay long enough to win, and as we can see, Mongols even have two players at the end. And if it was a close game, you know, maybe they could give that up, no problem, but MOUZ need every little bit.
Already in, though, fast back to the action. It's a swing out mid. And with it, down to the 4v3 CTs.
Wow, look how
taking an edge.
Man, these defaults from MOUZ, they want to use ammo to try to push you off your angles. And Mongols are saying, no, we'll fight. As long as you just want to raw duel us, we're going to go for it. Scary prospect when you're on T side. It's usually very easy to get the CTs to give up some space.
Mongols going to be happy with keeping the pressure up. Deep ramp peak, going to find more than just the one. And it's doubled up here by Senzu. Of course, Mzinho still backside, incredibly low HP, but we'll see if Shuhei lets his guard down, gets more concerned about the ramp, but a missed shot, and all of a sudden that door's reopened.
9-10 can't peek.
2 kills out of Torzi, wallbang just off, just enough for Torzi to then peel back. And then a chance here for Shuhei. The Tech 9's nearly pulling this round off. MOUZ finally trying to piece together a round with a lesser buy. This started with some sort of Tech 9 rush.
They have time to work with, and Senzu is waiting. They're in a spammable spot. Oh my God. What's going to happen here?
Save.
Oh, they actually will end up saving. No HP. 3 and 4 here between Senzu and 9-10. And MOUZ finally grind one out.
Yeah, run the replays. Let's see MOUZ just surely storming out top middle first and foremost. Can't deny the Mongols weren't close to still peeling this back.
Yeah.
That ramp push made absolute total sense.
Yeah, I think that they had the perfect bait setup, but Mzinho shot against the first guy jumping across the default. If he had waited or if he had hit the shot, that guy was low, then the bait works out perfectly with Banana. But as we said with MOUZ, they need every little bit and then some. Good to see them win a round. Now they come into this, no op to work with, but they know that they have MongolZ' money against the ropes. They can see an eco coming up on the horizon shortly.
Problem for MOUZ is that same horizon, something they kept their eyes on throughout the first half. Mongols have earned the respect in the X Factor. Stage alone will not shake this young, promising roster. So they bolster the mid-play out of the spawn. Less of an emphasis coming out from Exertion. But a threat, of course, from a potential cave push, and that's exactly what we're going to get from MongolZ. Cave and Heaven climb up. Lane players not made comfortable, but that'll certainly help.
They were asking for a duel like that.
Torzy's going to step up to the plate, give him one to think about. SMG upgraded into the rifle. Techno trying to connect here as the smoke begins to fade, and Xertion does come out from elbow late. It's Mzinho to throw himself down out of the red room, bringing a player with him, but the tethering coming out from MOUZ at the moment looks good. Able to establish a 4 versus 2, but why would you believe that the Mongols are out just yet?
Yeah, the question is, how do they read this? They know Techno is on this side of the map, and MOUZ are slowly going to come into this. I think they understood exactly what was happening and expected them to leave. 910 still here.
Of two minds, as he takes a glance towards Cave.
Prolin's got the last smoke. This is key.
Techno couldn't be further from the truth at the moment.
If they smoke off short and they have a flash on Yimpat, then they've got a chance, I think, to breach his site safely.
He's going to hang on to that Shuhei ramp push. Here's the players on site. Gets a little fixated on that one, and one missed shot will spell disaster here for 910. Could he have? Absolutely. You'd be a fool not to believe him. But MOUZ slow burn around into the site.
I can't say I love the way that MOUZ are approaching some of these rounds, but if we look at how this played out, you saw that Techno was fighting the left side of Cave, had it smoked, and knew the exact timing they were going to come out of elbow. But because MOUZ's utility and execution was so perfect, they knew they would be safe, and there would be no time for Techno to fight that as soon as his Cave smoke came up. So they've got it down to the finest margins, and you can see Mongols understand their game plan fully. I'm wondering if this is going to cost them eventually. Obviously, Torzy gets a great shot through the smoke, but this is a fight that Senzu knows that he's signing up for, spamming that smoke himself. And if you contrast game plans right now, Mongols used a lot of their opening tactics with utility to try to get an early peek on something, would fall back and then default. MOUZ kind of just have slowly crept into the default, start wandering a little bit, pressing for their 1v1s, and eventually get them. Looks a little bit less consistent to me in terms of how often they'll come up. But again, we look at the first half, and they had plenty of man advantages.
We'll see if the complexity starts to creep in for MOUZ. So we're looking at this all-in A-rush, looking to bully the less by of Mongols.
All the CTs are here.
Look at them swarm over, and straight up Mzinho just wins the USP kill, plus the damage. If they think this site is clear, they are wrong, and there's an AK for Techno!
Don't make a mistake!
All he needs is that one gun in the opening! Stops through them with ease!
Techno second to the top of the board. How do you like that beat?
How foolish do MOUZ feel?
Oh, man. Just a full-on A-rush. Every single CT was already here at this moment. The first USP kill slowed them down, so their flashes weren't even effective. And then you could see that Techno could push out farther, wider, and push them back. Crazy pop-off from Mzinho.
Fired up, understandably. His second-hand man in Techno. What a moment to step up. MOUZ had a chance to turn it around, as if that MZinho USP kill to start wasn't a bad omen.
Crazy. They wanted an easy call just to get the round over with, collect some money, get a fast plant. None of that happened. You know, Brolin is playing a lot better already than he did in Elimination. But should he be at the top of the board in a game like this? Maybe not.
Gonna try to flash up the ramp as the Mongols sit on the brink of a win here. It is still the double entry.
Okay.
Of all the things that have suddenly gone wrong for MOUZ, it makes sense that an all-in rush last round falls flat. Absolutely tested here by Mongols. The Opera now in between the two T's. He's going to be pressured from the other side of it, and Brolin's going to extend this deep into spawn, guaranteeing this game keeps giving.
Okay, yeah, they fought hard for that one, right up into B, and as I mentioned, Brolin, maybe that is the key factor if he's going to be having openers like that.
He was hands down the least performing player on MOUZ versus Mongols, back in that best sort of one on Mirage.
Yeah, he was struggling.
For a game that went to overtime and was so incredibly tight, for him to finish an OT match with 9 frags at the time, I remember saying to you as we cast that matchup, all it would have taken was a Brolin moment.
Yeah.
Never came through. And versus MIBR, that game to get them into the playoffs was praised by Xerxin as Brolin's best performance in a MOUZ jersey. He said, yes, we have never struggled at a major like this. Call back to the 3-0 run at the elimination stage of Copenhagen. Xerxin was grateful to be pushed because he says it's that push that's going to kick us into gear. And if Brolin is the one to step forth first, the door is still open here for MOUZ. Again, it is a single rifle out of the Mongols. It is pistols to surround it. The utility is a good way to make things uncomfortable bottom mid, and guess what? MZinho finds that lineup again.
And every chance is so important. We already see the click-clack of a 5-7. Just don't let it be one more pistol kill. Oh my God. There is no way Techno is messing them up like this. Blitz will spot, and this swing is somehow almost good enough.
MZinho, deep lane peek. He's got that angle into the donut. Molly in front of him, and he still sits inside of it, offering up a little bit more health to try and keep them cut off from the exit. They will manage to move forward. Great cover coming out here from Jimpat, and they take back the man advantage.
Yeah, this is to save the whole map, really. This could end right now if they're not careful, and it looks like they might take a risk.
9-10 thinks about it. Lineup's not quite there. Open invitation to go for the smoke spam, and it pushes this down to the 19 health of Techno. As much HP as he has frags in this map, he will cut their losses and walk away. And finally, one of these moments, these X-Factor instances that have all been picked up by the Mongols. This one, too much of an ask.
You know, for the team that's brand new to top 10 level gameplay and more consistent results and best Asian team in history, you know, we talk about MZinho as such a young player coming onto this team, but if we're going him versus Jimmy, dude, Jimmy should be clearing him in a match like this, right? And we get a great round in that moment from Jimpat, but this map overall is, you know, it's not the player that we saw at the beginning of each season, you know, put it that way.
Jimpat such a breakout that, you know, the conversation about him departing this roster for greener pastures.
At the beginning of this year, we're talking about him as the #1 anchor, #1 lurker.
Holes in a game that can cost you. But at least in this last round, he bails out enough water to keep MOUZ afloat on Ancient. And you think back to all those coulda, shoulda, wouldas of the first half, hell, including Pistol. MOUZ are still in this. Trying to cool off a red-hot Mongols. Back to the cave push. Techno finds a blind.
Oh, man, he just doesn't stop.
Easy double kill for him. Absolutely taking over, nearly catching up to MZinho, but the saving grace of MOUZ, they at least find this bomb site vacant.
Oh, and now they're slowing down their own plant because they missed their smoke. They're trying to be so careful.
Is the CTs are still so far away that this is their chance to just get your hands back on guns. Torzi will fall back towards main, and the Mongols will be tasked with a 5v3 retake for map 1 win. Xerxin goes deep, and connects. And he shaves off the one player that was on his own. Because of this movement, because of MongolZ going 3 deep over towards main, Torzy is in a world of hurt and he doesn't even know it.
Okay.
Or is it them that now have that chance to swing back? Great cover offered up from Xerxin and a 3v5 post plant for MOUZ.
Oh, that's such a great position where Xerxin is holding the right side. Torzy can freely op either one and he takes some easy duels. That's beautiful. I appreciate this round. They don't get tunnel vision. Yes, they miss a smoke as they're exiting A. But it's a 3v5 win for MOUZ, the most promising sign so far that they can put this together.
Contrast it to that post plant over on the B site where Blitz did a slow burn heaven flank, and all it took was one flashbang for the 2 ramp players to look away, to expose them to a type of flank that would have cost them here. Xerxin turns, gets away, and MOUZ go up to double digits. An uphill battle this entire map. And the money has to be collected here for MongolZ, but we've seen them pull it off. A single AK pistol purchase, it's what put them on 12.
They have to be careful because their utility is not as tricky as they think. Like, as we talked about earlier, MongolZ are finding ways to breach their mollies, to come in front of their flashes, and to take early peeks. They're getting disrespected a lot. And it's another round on a low buy. Luckily for them, it's not Techno with the AK, but it is Senzu. And we have yet to see Senzu activate. 6 and 13.
Instant gush. He's lucky to be alive. He doesn't even have a helmet. We get this perfect push out from Xerxin. Alleviates all the pressure, or most of it. Techno is over on B.
How is he still alive?
Comes out from the cave, down to 11 health. He is doomed at this point. Oh! Impossible situation put forth by the pistol. The X Factor.
What?
Is undeniable.
And now he's looking for a full reroute. He's running this rotation. 2 T's dead in the site.
Techno is having a round into the AK, deep peek to the site, finally dropped.
Both spotted?
Xenios 5-7 also hits the dirt.
What?
And MOUZ's hearts pounding in their chests to the tempo of Techno's attempt.
Oh, that's incredible, man. And Techno, again, now tied with Xenios somehow in this game. And is one of the few players having a great CT side now, no matter what gun he's using. But this has officially become a 24-round game. Oh my God.
A little excited there from Mzinho, maybe trying to come out in the 1v2.
Heat-seeking ammo. Shuhei, this is where you could do so much for your team if you've got the right call.
Unfortunately, you know, clean call. Last time they attempt to come out was that A-rush that gets clipped. There is no road that feels simple. As MongolZ sit comfortably on 12, OT in their back pocket. MOUZ knocking on the door with what looks like, again, early pressure from Xerxin in mid.
This time there's no spawn for him to try to duel. But he still makes his way out. Techno goes down. You think you need him.
Hell of a time for Shuhei to get one over in the cave play. We saw the value of the Xerxin red room push 1 round ago, and he's trying to put it in position yet again. Utility comes out, and the flash is good. Shuhei doubling down as MOUZ on the brink of OT will chase him all the way. Brolin deep.
Oh my God, they've done it. They actually managed to bring it to overtime in a game like this that looked like tragedy after tragedy.
So much X Factor sprinkled into that first half. But MOUZ, hang on.
I actually can't believe my eyes. MOUZ, who started off this game in a 2v4, they came back, they won the second pistol. They grinded through, losing opening frags in the second half, and ended up nearly losing to the man on your screen right here. This is who it could have come down to on that CT side, but instead they persevered. And all conversations about their stage performances can go out the window as long as they win the maps. Now, the last time on Mirage they went to overtime, it was 4-1 for MongolZ.
Yes.
They cleared as soon as they got there. But this time, it's MOUZ who have earned their spot in overtime.
Exactly.
It was MongolZ who couldn't close.
Blitz's performance in round 23 and 24 of that Mirage game instantly relit the fire that sits beneath MongolZ. It's a stark contrast to losing your grip of a lead and knowing that that lead existed because of those gnarly rounds you pulled out of nowhere. Xertion's mid-play, I think, on T-side cannot be understated.
Yeah, that's what he needs to do. That's what he absolutely needs to do. It's like, when we talk about him playing T-side connector Mirage, when we talk about him getting space inside of middle on Ancient, these are the core positions that have made us talk about Xertion more and more. Oh, look at the difference in play right now.
Dude, trying to dogpile this avenue of attack that Xertion has utilized so often. 9-10 versus Torzi, and he gets one pulled over, but the chase is on. Instantly, out from A main, Xertion hits that headshot in a moment. Deep peek into the donut. He'll find it. It's a late play from Shuhei. Again, being a nuisance for Techno in back-to-back rounds, but maintained by Senzu. And we get Xertion so deep into the donut that Mzinho's attempt to push out finds nothing. Even flanks upon flanks as Brolin keeps options open with the mid-help.
Oh, they've really opened up. Suddenly the aim's getting a whole hell of a lot better.
And poor Senzu sitting on a horrible half in total contrast to the rest of the elimination stage. It's a clutch attempt queued up. 3 Ts lie ahead of him, and as he peeks out forward, down he goes. Xertion continues to stamp his name on Ancient.
And is this the first lead for MOUZ in the game so far? As we get into overtime, here's a chance. And that was just seeing so many better shots being hit, and well-timed lurks out of MOUZ as well.
Not one, but two. This late play out of Brolin takes a dink to the head
on the dome
and completely removes any opportunity for that retake attempt. Mongols will dig into the double op. We see them pull this out more commonly in overtimes than anywhere else, and it is a good time to get 9-10 unleashed. Deep A main peak with a maintaining of the mid play from Mzinho.
Yeah, that's Torzi out again. Another 5v3 here in favor of the Mongols. But these low numbers plays.
Good pressure.
Oh, good flashes, but they don't catch Xertion. They don't even know how far he got out.
I think 9-10 saw him. I think 9-10 got a glimpse of that before he exited.
Oh, okay.
He's very wary of that close play, but the flank gets caught.
Swung the smoke. Bomb is not out yet.
But this late play from Brolin.
They have to have the smoke come down for CT, but it's really poofy. It allows for a default cross. They're walking it back. Xertion makes no...
Good pressure from Donut. Mzinho comes and clears him. CT's not wanting to give up this site at all.
They made a mistake.
Deep angle maintained by Jimfat. You got 50 seconds to piece this one together, and they're going to put Brolin over top. And as 9-10 floats around in this bomb site, there is a chance that Brolin can step forward, clear Donut, but the shadow spotted, and that's all he needs to see.
Yeah.
That gives 9-10 further opportunity to lock this round down. Still, no chance out for Jimmy to exit. You've got players all over trying to bait the shot from 9-10, cold as ice. He waits, and he waits, and he will lock this in with certainty. 9-10 immovable in bomb site this round.
Oh, man. Okay, Mongols tie it right back up with a good round themselves. 3 players breached in 20, 2 players yet to hit 10 here for the Mongols. Unlikely suspects as well in Blitz and Senzu, who normally top the charts.
When Mongols get into their toughest situations, when Mongols need somebody to re-inspire, it is Blitz. We always say it's unbelievable that at 23 years of age, he kind of has this aura of experience. Now we get this quick fight down middle yet again. Xertion has signed up for this fight so many times, and he's able to get further back, exiting without losing too much health.
Yeah, half the job is just getting him out of mid. They would have loved to pick him up with that frag.
Zeno's gonna come climb up. He's blinded, spotted out. That cues Shuhei to peek out, but he's worried about Techno. Can they pull their pieces off the mid play?
This is so scrappy, the way they're playing against each other. They know exactly how they're approaching these situations. The flashes have been excellent for the MOUZ, but now they're starting to get caught off themselves.
Brolin trying to be the saving grace. Oh, right into the secondary op in Senzu.
Really loosened up on that play. You know, 3v5, I think he thought, let's give it a shot.
Jimpat's gonna find a floating player bottom mid. Is that the saving grace for MOUZ to take the edge in OT? Another fight queued up for Jimmy, but dinked and still, able to tear another player off. That bomb is in an open rotation to just move over to the A site, which is currently unoccupied.
Yeah, wouldn't be hurt either. You can see Techno swinging the wrong way. Senzu holding inside of Cave, and it looks like it'll be a 2v1 retake here for Torzy. Torzy, MOUZ need this.
There's nobody in sight to hold him back. There's no CT to make a mistake before retake needed, and he wants a little more control.
He thinks there's somebody here.
Could he catch him in rotation? Techno, he's stampeding in. This is a full picture for Torzy. Oh, he mishears it. And he thinks he's still tucked up towards red, scopes and gives it up.
That was a round one, I think, if he got that, or at least the odds swing heavily into his favor. It'll be 2 rounds in OT here for Mongols. And they let MOUZ see the lead for just a second, but they take it right back. Again, it's a rare scoreboard from them. You see Senzu and Blitz, who were heroes throughout Elimination, and Techno, who had really struggled some games throughout Elimination, swapping seats. MOUZ, on the other hand, are, I think, consistently across their team, just showing better form, exertion showing better form. And I think the one parallel to be drawn is Brolin stepping it up for the stage.
Certainly a sight for sore eyes. Hands down, least performing player for MOUZ up until that qualification game versus MIBR. But if we talk about Mongols, who in the bigger picture are peaking at the perfect moment for Shanghai, then Brolin tried to do the same thing individually. Missed chance for Torzy there, so evident that Techno was about to have the wool pulled over his eyes.
Techno's not slowing down has been pretty amazing to watch. That round, of course, careful when he walks and barely gets away with his life.
And luckily for Mongols, any slack Mzinho left in the second half, 9-10 picked up. He is not getting bested by Torzy in the head-to-head op as they met in the last map.
So they know exactly what's happening right now, and it comes down if they flash elbow, he pushes through.
Finds it clear.
Yeah, and now with the K push comes through, and they watch it. Yeah,
beautiful
they
support.
Know what's happening. Uh-oh.
Missed utility here for Zershin, trying to give himself a chance to leave. He'll bring a player with him. It's not ideal, but it is still something to work with. And we get this instant allocation of Torzy towards mid. He will see nothing but smoke, his own teammates smoke.
They're worried about the walkout. Let's see how fast Mongols move, because they have an opportunity they can't see right now.
Brolin thinking about the chance to double back as the Mongols pump the brakes.
They have sort of the wrong read on the situation. It's possible that MOUZ walk all the way down mid in this spot and turn this into a B flank. And it really now depends on how long Mongols want to be patient, but there is time on the clock. We've moved into a classical time control here.
Torzy hunting for this kill is just perfect.
They just get away.
Oh, but as he climbs up, now Brolin's going to be breathing down their necks.
The bomb is coming.
Neither team turns. It's perfection. The block plays to the hands of MOUZ, and it's them that go hunting.
Oh man, they were hoping for that same play, but sooner. Wow, it's crazy how much these two have shown they understand each other in all these default moments.
Timing.
Even watching for the smoke pushes, they're both culprits when it comes to those.
The fact that, of course, Mongols throw a second player through that smoke so that Techno can get that 2K.
Yeah.
We'd seen Shuhei come out cave, slip into the corner, and punish when the one player pushes back in regulation. Mongols an adaptation and an opening taken away. Covertly covered by Torzy as Brolin steps forth into the spotlight here for MOUZ. The last member of MOUZ in terms of this roster, an individual who all too many had thought was lost to the sands of time, despite being as young as he is, finds 4 other players with the same mentality and life arc so that he fits right in. And fit in does he ever. 24 kills deep here to tie the game again.
Another similar starting move. Identical opening theory here for the Mongols, and a mirrored response from MOUZ. They're a little bit lighter on mid this time, actually.
Shuhei maybe peeling back, and they think they can creep in. Yeah, right.
Oh, all 3!
And he doesn't even blink. no smirk, no smile. It is all business for Shuhei in the 3K.
That had to be some incredible read. Why did Mongols think that cave was wide open? How did Shuhei know that they were simply going to walk into it? Because he didn't put any pressure down.
I think it's the number of times that we had seen that forward push from MOUZ. How many times has Shuhei walked through that smoke and tucked inside the corner?
It's wild. No mid-pressure at all from MOUZ as well. Woo. And now they have a chance to close this map out. That's the best round so far.
How convincing. Hands clean in the 29th. MOUZ to be given one moment to shut this down, and we had written off their hopes of winning Ancient. The series inevitably to be contested.
Especially to come back on their weak side all the way to overtime. That shows you that MOUZ should be playing more Ancient.
Mongols will have limitations here. MAC-10's on the field. Not one, but two. And that third kill for Shuhei.
Unreal.
That's the blessing that sets up MOUZ to do this one flawless. 5 members standing at the end of the 29th.
Here's your great opportunity, MOUZ. Mongols take attack for themselves to go over things.
An approving moment here for Blitz to have to come up with an idea despite an underperformance with a low economy. MAC-10's out through smoke already. That nade, it chunks down Senzu and Mzinho.
Full control of the map here for MOUZ as they start to jump up heaven.
And there is nobody to attack this from elbow. It is an all-in B hit. It is going to be Brolin to have his hands full, and he continues to lessen those health bars before he sees a thing. And so as they begin to charge in, Brolin brings a second with him. MOUZ will swarm. It is the team play. It is the pack of players that step forth. Red player down at the hands of MOUZ. Your 2v4s be damned. MOUZ find map 1. There is no denying that the Mongols came out swinging. There is no denying that MOUZ grabbed back all momentum. And there is no denying as well that this series was to lead to Nuke. Thank you for your expertise, panel. It is time to get into map 2 between MOUZ and Mongols. With major semis on the line, who cracks under the spotlight?
Yeah, we'd love to talk about how much pressure plays a factor and whatever on this map, but in terms of who's supposed to win this map, like who was supposed to win Ancient, this time it's supposed to be MOUZ, and they have already done the unlikely. So, Techno, are we going to get back-to-back outstanding performances? Are they going to stand the test of Brolin like we saw? These are the questions we've got to ask ourselves. And it's clean. Starting off, not too bad.
Yeah, so it was. Brolin has some sort of a response. But quickly, Senzu out from Decon door, interrupts him as he's trying to throw that smoke out, and that was the bomb to boot. Everything comes crumbling around the MOUZ entry because it is yet again killer execution from the pistols of the Mongols. Shuhei will try his damnedest to reclaim footing here, but why stick around and vent when you can run towards your teammates and bomb?
Yeah, maybe he wanted that early fight, but 34 HP. You think it's a little too little here for Shuhei. Let's see what he can come up with.
Questions around whether Blitz can bring it in map 2. Questions around whether Mzinho can overperform again, as he did out of the gate back on Ancients.
What was so awkward about that scoreboard was seeing, Techno with the great map, but then Senzu without one, any floor at all in that game. And so what happens now?
Don't give it to him. Don't you dare.
Jumping for the headshot. Peek comes out, 9-10, trying to dissuade him from peeking out. And will he find Techno? Shuhei, he knows he's over here.
He waits. Love the flash, just trying to boil more time off that clock. Clock's getting empty. Don't you dare.
Wow. I want to dissect that situation. Nice try. It won't be the sort of clutch late round decision making and shots that were hit from the Mongols in their first round on Ancient, but a lost pistol for MOUZ on this map is not the end of the world.
Maui Snake elegantly highlighting Brolin's individual level on Nuke. As he said, top 5 player in the world on this map specifically. It is beautiful to see him obviously start this series with impact.
Yeah, it's wonderful to see. It's poetry how it comes down to someone like him after his great start to the day, after a rough last week. But nothing about last week matters now that both of these teams are here in playoffs.
We shed the elimination stage. Oh, and 9-10 sheds heads like it's nothing. Little money to be made. And the MOUZ Glocks fall. Knowing that MOUZ were going to bring it to Nuke, knowing that this map would be part of the most important series of their lives, our eyes fall on MongolZ to define how to stop MOUZ.
Now, I didn't really look at that comeback as a choke from the Mongols. I looked at some of the early rounds from MOUZ as choking when they got 2v4'd.
Yeah, for sure.
In the second half, you know, MOUZ did win a 3v5. Most of the rounds, though, they were sort of steady defaults that ended up getting them into good positions, and their man advantages, I think, eventually just overcame the Mongols. I think maybe if there was any choking, it was, you know, the individual play from Senzu and Blitz overall. But I just feel like that was a very legit comeback in that sense.
100%. MOUZ kept it clean. If anything, at the start felt a little uninspiring. But then it was the consistency in what they brought to each round that pulled it all off. And Xertion was undeniable back on Ancient. Mid-presence, both halves. Even when things weren't going well on his CT side. Even when Mongols were able to take him down out of the gate.
So how well can they call a timing? If you double up ramp and Exertion's out for this lurk, it's totally fine. And they will get some
clean one.
Yeah,
9-10
out of this.
Instant headshot. We've got MP9 top box. And it just frees up your M4 to take that extra flagrant duel. Go ahead, give up a kill. Let them come forward to the SMG.
Xertion doesn't have a door or window broken open here. So he can take all the space, but he can't really join up with them super quickly. Let's see if he can time this with another bit of noise.
Zeno still chomping at the bits to get into the action. 9-10 not giving them anything to really pull on, so that does allow for them to focus top box, and that's what's going to allow for the trade to come through. Then 9-10 clears both.
And suddenly
Xertion comes up from downstairs with the trade frag back. He's got 30 seconds to recover what seems and is indeed an unwinnable round.
Okay, I mean, it's amazing hold from that boosted position for the Mongols, and they'll go up 3-0. It's impossible to tell how they feel because obviously they don't display a lot of emotion. I think the best part about this veto is they could probably both have guessed which maps were going to be picked.
Say we don't see a lot of emotion, but we certainly saw a momentary fired up Mzinho back on Ancient. When he was able to set them up with the USP kill and Techno's AK-47 shredded what was left of MOUZ, that A-rush that got denied. That's what put them on 12 for the record. And when you get to 12, that's when Mzinho felt the win was in the bag.
Now it's all about lurkers with MOUZ.
Creeping around with Tech-9s. Lobby's there for their taking. And first blood established by Blitz. Frees up Techno to get a little more squirrely. But now you've just gone ahead and offered over an MP9. Shuhei will take a glance towards ramp. No shot fired yet from 9-10. Patience pays off as he strikes down the second player and then finds contact after the fact with Shuhei. 4-0 start here for Mongols. A slow T-side's not the end of the world, but you are giving Mongols more chance to just kind of catch their breath after what had to be a gut-wrenching loss on map 1.
That's such a good play from 9-10 because, you know, he's playing tier 1 in that moment, right? Like, you know the first player is going to be running and jumping just to bait your shot. He's not biting on that. We saw him do a similar thing on Ancient. So 4-0 kicks off. We get into another gun round here for MOUZ. Ancient started off 5-0 as well. We saw that MOUZ still were able to recover.
Oh, fight from Senzu. Damn, right into it. And a recovery out of Techno. So where there's one, there's more. That's how the Mongols work.
Xerxin is getting erased so far.
Ooh, blitz.
Oh my God. He has found the Goldilocks zone. That's unreal. He's able to hold on to secret control because of it.
910's deep grenade, gonna feign a little bit of presence for the trophy room, then he peels back and just plays hell instead.
They can sense the upper pop coming. Getting into better spots, top hut. And I don't know if this comes to a walkout squeaky. We've got Brolin on the only Molotov, so Mzinho's position is quite strong right now.
But he's got to look at the right side of this at the right time, because Techno's about to be busy with the main fight as well. Doesn't look like Blitz is going to peek from secret. Shuhei comes in. Ooh, it's great timing, but it gets away. Mzinho's got cover up from heaven, moves from 910.
Great trades.
And that peel back from that forward position of ramp, maybe they're thinking there's not a player to be added just yet. Shuhei could have alleviated a lot of pressure in that situation.
It's a key moment for Shuhei. He, timing those lurks are everything for MOUZ. Again, they're going to use those positions a lot, and Mongols were aware of it, but they were patrolling between two spots as Techno looked back upper, and I think Shuhei knows with that one frag, they could have tipped the scales and got into a late round post-plant situation, or even found a vent drop, I think was very possible right there. So there we have it. Another crushing start for the Mongols, showing that they can fight on Nuke. They must be teeming with confidence right now, and it's anti-eco protocols.
Yeah, quite a bit of a purchase, though, still for MOUZ, just rounding out the money. Can't sleep on a round like this if you're the Mongols. Great chance for Mzinho and Blitz to build on the $7,000 bank accounts they already have. Mzinho of two minds here with the utility usage that the T's are starting to show outside. Nerve-wracking first map for Blitz, who didn't ever, not once, give us a moment of individual play that left us to be proud, but he finds perfect timing to deal with Brolin from top silo.
They have a catch every lurk set up, and Blitz needs a flash impact, gets a kill.
Pistol still coming through, though, nonetheless. Blitz is going to fall back away from Garage. Good call to get away from those pistols. This top Rafters player in Techno just wants out of the gunfight, and so he'll bail into sight itself. Covered here by 910. Back into the action go Mongols, and all seems good. Shuhei dodging that op shot from the Heaven Peak. It is a very fast-footed 910 at the moment, peeling away from ramp, and back-to-back rounds to just stop MOUZ in their tracks. They push forward into main, and 910 wants blood. 3 kills deep for the 6-0 start.
They smell blood on the water. They come for it. They get closer to the fight. They don't let those 3v1s go on too long. 6-0, and MOUZ are good enough that they can win a round like that, especially when your squeaky player gets 2 frags. That's when you can throw things into disarray, but Blitz got away relatively safely to hell. He got 1 pick outside. They were honestly really prepared for upper, and that's why Jimmy got those 2 frags. They were watching for the mini lurk as well as playing 2 upper with a fast rotation. Game plans look sound here for the Mongols. Now the question is, you ask yourself, well, if Mongols started 6-0, would they lose Nuke? And I don't think anybody would say yes. But last map, they started 5-0. And it still ended up in an overtime defeat. Let's see if that seed of doubt creeps in.
Love this reposition from Blitz, and the fact that it's a double up, it's a pretty heavy commitment from Mongols. Really opens ramp, which for now MOUZ have continued to ignore. Fast route from Brolin denied. And Xerxin's not able to pounce immediately. Oh, scroll jump.
Oh, man.
Gets away from him still. There is a moment here for Torzi. It's not dead yet. We got a live wire outside, and we've got 910 down beneath, clipped by Xerxin. CT's coming at them, waiting from Yimmy. Pays off, and it falls onto the shoulders of Senzu, who does have a chance to at least fight Jim Pat first in a moment once this smoke fades. it's not the ideal fight for him, and he will still falter.
Okay.
9-10 getting away from what felt like exertion, losing his grasp on the moment.
Yeah, I wonder when he pushed out of hell what the info was on exertion in that spot. It just got so chaotic right there. But MOUZ, at least, they grab one.
I think the chaos as well we see in this last round is a bit of a testament to what started to happen over on Ancient, right? MOUZ at a moment there were just absolutely smashing into the lane, into middle at times, both halves. And even if it's not a sustainable idea, it's there that MOUZ, in my mind, got Mongols off kilter. And once you had that wobble, it opened the door for the MOUZ comeback.
And that's what T-side Nuke is all about, is trying to game rotations as much as possible, create lurk opportunities, because one player can get 2 kills if you get into a good spot in the lower, and you have players like Brolin and Exertion, who can be 2 tips of the spear. Exertion still been getting caught off guard, but finding close opportunities.
Yeah, and it's starting. First one's on the board. Torji, immediate op angle on main.
Oh my goodness.
Presented 2 chances to take that shot, but doesn't end up landing. And we see Mongols scramble in response, trying to move that AWP towards secret stairs.
9-10 maybe senses an opportunity where top silo will not be posted on him. Let's see how quickly he moves. He's had a great start, 12-4.
You know, there have been a few rounds with 9-10 occupying a ramp where MOUZ have just kind of left it to its own devices. And we see the impact that had with 9-10 coming out from heaven, or last round nearly peeking outer to hold the line. I wouldn't blame MOUZ if they start to play into a later ramp.
No, but they've got no secret player right now. Not looking to join up downstairs. Upper pop coming their way, and they've committed into ramp slightly, but they have the pieces up here.
Senzu hangs on from the rafters, loses the player in sight. They will both fall empty-handed, but Blitz.
Okay, Brolin.
Popped by Brolin as he bounds through sight. And you saw that utility coming out from Squeaky. 9-10 not able to deny any kind of a split because it's all in from lobby off MOUZ.
It's really nice out of Brolin. I mean, that second shot is frame perfect. Do not let your prey escape. This will be a quiet save for the Mongols, and with the money left over, they'll be happy to keep this to an op if they can, but oh, never mind. Good night.
Op hits the door. See you next time. MOUZ establishing a T-side now. Oops.
It's a key last pick-off there from Exertion. Not having an op in this round is really tough. And Mongols will have one good gun. I don't know if they spend a whole lot here. But this is MOUZ's chance to try to stabilize. Surely no techno shenanigans. He buys a Zeus.
No way. Load it up. And of course that one floating M4. Oh, back into it. Main player firing with the rifle will be known to the T's, who just obliterate the A play. A stack that blows up in their faces. Mongols knew they were always going to be outgunned.
Yeah.
And MOUZ take that information, don't shy away from the rush. It's a call that cost them back on Ancient. Same thing, one rifle saved.
Yes, the A-pop that it was.
But Shuhei will not be shaken. And he calls it here on Nuke with conviction.
I don't appreciate that. He doesn't like to overcomplicate the anti-force-ups.
Does that remind you of Kerrigan a little bit, Launders?
A lot of things about Shuhei, for sure, are a reminder of Kerrigan. I think, like, in the first half of this year, I think the interesting thing was MOUZ and, MOUZ having so much success and FaZe having so much success, but MOUZ never being able to take out FaZe in a playoff game. And yet still FaZe having a second-place era. Somehow, nobody was winning off of that. But it really felt like it was going to be sort of a passing of the torch.
Surely.
But even in this playoffs, here we have Kerrigan waiting in quarterfinals. Somehow, FaZe have managed to break in after looking really rough in the elimination stage. maybe they will have a chance.
They always do. Xerxin to be the tip of the spear outer. We've seen moments where Mongols throw bodies at main and also try to peek up from secret stairs. So I wouldn't blame Xerxin for being wary of this, as we've even seen the Opper kick off rounds downstairs. But they make contact with that player outside heaven. Xerxin decides to peel back towards red for a moment, and those smokes fade now outer for MOUZ. There's still a chance for them to claim some territory. Blitz is going to be calling that he's getting split. It's a half-ass clear from Brolin, and it's going to cost them one of the two opening riflemen for MOUZ. Jimpat buying time, missed timing, but he's going to go in hard clear Techno, and he'll sweep him off of that A site. It's man advantage now in the hands of MOUZ. It's an MP9 trying to move forward and claim this.
Always a question of how far has Xerxin gotten, and MZinho is just as careful as Jimmy.
At the same time as the Op picks up one, 9-10 gets that man advantage back in the hands of Mongols. But MOUZ, shoulder to shoulder.
Two more layers here, and MZinho is going to walk back into this. This is his opportunity to get traded. Lots of timing involved in this, and he finds a perfect timing.
Oh, still, Tech9 sweeps him out of this round with 30 seconds to the clock.
Torzy in the 1-on-2. No rotations. Oh, one rotation lower in Senzu.
Already down on windows, but still allowing him to cross over. Molly at the feet could get Senzu out of position. Torzy's going to be exposed to the single door. 9-10 wastes no time, swings it open, guns him down, and posts Mongols 7th.
It's been a relatively fruitful CT side. Now they've had some parity here. They've lost a couple of rounds, but Mongols right back to winning. It's, again, a game where MOUZ can win a few T rounds and still be comfortable, so it's not as scary of a lead, I'd say, this time around, but you have to give Mongols credit. They're keeping up here on Nuke.
Where they're supposed to be kind of out of pace in the face of MOUZ. 9-10 certainly making a difference. This Op is coming alive on the CT half, 14-6, sitting comfortably 10 rounds into the half, and he has been mobile.
Very much so. Second tack pause is going to be called. A lot of teams are burning these exclusively on T side, where of course it takes a little extra communication to get organized.
Three rounds, not an inspiring half from MOUZ.
But with this round, you know, comes a broke Mongols. Massive opportunity for MOUZ here versus these two MP9s. 9-10 might have to do a lot of the work.
Blinded out of spawn.
It's all about these lurker support here for MOUZ.
Ooh, that's going to open it, but Xerxin slips through in the perfect timing. He's managed to get by two, slides into Senzu.
And he's going back out.
Slips back outdoors, trying to zone what he knows to be contact.
Oh my
it's
goodness.
A wonderful SMG spray. MZinho, on the other half of the map, his teammates getting peeled apart by a single player, and he draws that line in the sand. Going back in for thirds, that's what's going to cost him. And so man advantage established here for MOUZ. Xerxin faking maybe that he would slip away downstairs. 9-10, not concerned about the corners. That is what comes back to haunt him, and they just immediately pounce in onto an A site where Techno has to find timing, but won't. It is a headshot out of Torzy, and a beautiful mid-round here from MOUZ. MZinho almost throws all of that up in the air.
Definitely. I mean, it's a beautiful moment for Xerxin. Like, the way that he plays that, he understands who's chasing him, where in 3 different fights, gets in and out. Senzu could have put him to sleep right there when he spotted him inside of Mini. This hard fought is won, but when he slips back out of the smoke, is totally lost to the CTs. They're chasing ghosts. Yes, MZinho nearly wins off of raw duels, but I like what we're seeing out of Xerxin. Out of MOUZ to win that, and look what the reward is. Xerxin's 3K into a force down for Mongols and a chance to make this 7-5.
M4 SMG.
Back to his regular antics.
And numbers heavier for Mongols inside. Range, an advantage here for MOUZ. They know it, both teams, as the defense kernels inside. And Xerxin has been just constant on pressuring the base of heaven. Oh, spotted.
Always spotted, but that's only half the job with him.
And he knows, of course, that there's a player in here. Won't be able to do a damn thing about it. And so young MZinho keeps the pressure up on MOUZ. That's the rifle found. That's one gun. The one gun now hits the ground as Brolin returns the favor, replacing Exertion, trying to keep that tempo and pressure and pace up through heaven. Bodies confirmed downstairs. Torzi hits a wall bang of all things. And now suddenly you have an issue if you're Mongols, because in a moment's notice, Brolin could barrel upper.
Surely this comes back to Mini, right? If they're rotating below and he doesn't see anyone going back upstairs, they can walk out on Techno. And they're starting to head in this direction. 2 rotations lower means this is a great call for MOUZ.
I do like the Techno tucks into Hut, though.
But they probably just, well, just thinking about it.
Smoking off the vent, the squeaky door. It's going to put more pressure on Techno to bring somebody down with him. He will. Instant headshot. He keeps it as clean as he can, but it was a massive ask. And then that insurance policy of Brolin upstairs. He will sit above the bomb. Give cover when needed. Jimpat to make contact. That's a huge deke from Blitz. That is what reopens this round.
Barely let go of the ladder.
And we've been calling for his moment. Absent across Ancient. In these kinds of high-pressure situations, Blitz needs to deliver. And now he's going to have to finish this on his own 40 health. And sidelined by Torji, MOUZ will reclaim momentum in this half with 5 of the last 6 rounds.
Super solid recovery in 5 rounds T-side. That's definitely fine for MOUZ. Mongols can be proud of the fact that they kept a lead here, had a great start. But again, MOUZ are not afraid of a lead. That's what we've already seen. Nuke is a premium map here for MOUZ, and they are much stronger on CT. It might have to be a game that requires 2 pistols. We don't have any talking here from the players. It might be Mara in the back sharing his thoughts as we're in halftime. But this is where the entire major is on the line. After an incredible run here for the Mongols, an overtime loss on Ancient, this could be the very last map that we see from him here at the Shanghai Major.
Instant attack, though, right into this A site. They're trying to set tempo. They'll lose a player over towards Vent, and then all in on ramp. Berettas with backs turned to it. Hell Peak comes in a moment. It is good cover. Techno was able to punish Exertion, who tried to come through, but Jim Hat maintains downstairs. He goes into this final fight. Techno, 1v3, that's what's asked of you. And he will open with the frag on Jimmy with so much time to clutch.
And there have been some amazing moments from Techno, but how many can we get?
Turns back behind him and will find no contact. CT's creeping outwards. Torzi, did he see that?
I think.
Was spotting legs.
Yes.
Seems very convinced that he knows now where the position's at. And so while Techno thinks he is being sneaky and slipping away, he's going to have to check it at the right time. But now the jig is up. And as he confirms one player ramp, he'll take his chance. He will charge down this A site, going for the backside plant, hoping that there's no one heaven. Not the case. Brolin, with execution, puts MOUZ one away.
Yeah, so it's the ramp hold. They have 2 there waiting for it. They catch Mzinho trying to get down the vents, bullet to the back of the dome, assassinated right there in broad daylight, and now it's a 1-round game. MOUZ are 100% going to be comfortable here about making this comeback happen. It is a big gulp moment here for the Mongols.
MOUZ felt very ready for that pistol. 3 layers of a defense inside ramp. Berettas even along the wall, ready to just chew through flesh. Those wild moments that kicked off this best of 3. The robberies, so consistent to the favor of the Mongols. The 2v4 pistol set a tone in this series on map 1. The very first round made you doubt MOUZ again. And yet Nuke features not those moments yet. Mongols can take their sweet time. It's been been a long road to this best of 3. A long road to a major playoff. Breaking new ground for their region, but not breaking through Jimmy immediately. Costs them 2. And the counter-terrorists won't scramble. They've already got defenders downstairs in Brolin, but things start to get a little weird. It's all right. Support's in position. Brolin, Torzy, Xertion clear the board, and we go tied game 7-all.
Yes. This will have to be a masterclass for the Mongols now as they purchase up everything that they can. Up goes into the hands of Torzy, and MOUZ failed to get a lead on map 1 until overtime, and then eventually ended up winning. Here, they have a chance to do it even earlier.
Torzy in a dangerous place. Up close on that smoke. The Mongols opt not to barrel through it. T's still hanging on to 3 smokes. But as that utility comes out of them early on, we'll see how many bodies they throw behind this. Xertion always good for a lineup, and there he goes, connecting onto Blitz. Now calling from the sideline as garage control is taken over here by MongolZ. Mzinho had so many fights from hell, and he gets one, blindsided. It takes a second, though, an extra second that opens the door for Torzy's trade. And the main player looking to take a bit of a fight, if needed, outside.
Great support here from Torzy, and he's looking for blood now. There's no more smokes outside. They're starting to peel back out of this, and they actually do evacuate safely, but it's a 3-on-4.
Such little to work with here for MongolZ. To have to be turned away from all of that commitment outer, to do it without a hook in the side of an A split. Back down to 2 squeaky, 1 hut. And problematically, you've got Brolin ready to go when needed. Shuhei cuts down the first. Does Senzu dive? No, won't get that chance. Shuhei's got himself a second, and Techno exposed to the main play. MOUZ's positioning is too good, and they don't get unrooted. Yep. MongolZ have lost their lead.
They have lost the lead, and Xertion, look at the game he's recovered into after this 5-round loss. He started something like 1-5. Now he's 13-10, and his kills have been critical. He got that 3K at the end of the first half. He's started to make really good moves here. Even just that small frag in credit card through the smoke on the timing. You've got to have someone that can do that. You know, Donk inside of Mini can kill you 3 times over crossing outside. The Mongols in that first half didn't get too much out of punishing the smoke crosses. And he will not lose his curiosity. In fact, Xertion looks to disrespect everything now.
Torzy very much on his own here, playing behind box, on ramp. It's a failable position. He's down into the site, but as he rattles off a second bullet, he has to take one with him. That was bare minimum from Torzy going in for his 3rd shot, but now you have given an op over to your opponent.
Be careful with 9-10 here. Oh, and they close out, no problem. Kills across 2 different choke points. Perfect rotations in time here for MOUZ. (9-7). All the purchases come down again. 9-10. Well, instead of picking up the op, will buy his own. And a chance to touch 10 first here for MOUZ.
Oh, you give Torzy a chance. He won't always miss. Senzu could be sitting on a silver platter.
Clean.
Sure enough, he is.
Oh, Senzu had a nightmare of a series so far. He's not the player that I thought would have the most trouble, you know, in this game for some reason. And they definitely needed his help on Ancient. They won't win this one without him on Nuke. Can MongolZ figure this out? MOUZ are so pervasive on this map. Play with tons of information. Small chances to win. There's a duel one.
Torsi on this gap of an angle hangs on. And as he does, oh, the timing gets away. The pressure's into A, and they clear the Hut player. Brolin, it's your time. It's his chance. And it gets taken away, but the heaven swing from Jimpat's great. Greatness denied. 9-10 makes the difference. Woo. And the Mongols have an answer.
You know what? That's a close call, but actually not too bad from the Mongols. Like, they obviously win that round by a hair, but even being able to do that is pretty impressive, especially with the start to the round that we had. Torsi finding a clean kill over top of Silo right here. And again, playing active with so much information. Samzinho, man, he's the one who keeps impressing me.
Blitz breaking through that, the commitment to the spray down, just knowing Brolin's pinned against the wall. Golden opportunity here for the Mongols to tie, and they will, while blind, find the opening kill.
One more time.
And he won't fade away. No, he keeps that pressure up. Down the vent he'll go, unnoticed, if I had to bet.
Yeah, if they don't call this timing, it's possible they just walk down after him, but now after some time has passed, you think, no. This is two joining hands and lower, but this is the bomb that has yet to cross, and joining up is the difficult part. Let's see if they time this glass break.
Is that deep enough for Brolin to get around?
It's actually good because Exertion cannot peek from this position, so as long as they've cleared out Mini, they can go for the walk on lower, and Exertion...
He will peek.
Oh, he will.
How about that? Opper found to be out in the open. God. That's bomb dropped at 50 seconds. A second player confirmed, but what this does is it starts to unravel your lower control. We see Senzu try to come up from secret, or have a teammate join him.
They desperately want to get that bomb back. Mzinho might be able to find a way into this, but...
Senzu's been cleared out, but like you said, did they cover the timing? The sound downstairs, this position from Jimmy is huge. And yeah, they're very wary, holding for the ramp flank. Timing, he spots him, but turns at the worst moment, and Mzinho comes through.
He knows.
But the round's not won, 20 to the clock, and that bomb still needs to be scooped back up. Shuhei, who has been a nuisance from Top Hut, owns this A site. The peak is there, but the MP9 prevails, and it is MOUZ to double digits.
And Mzinho's frustrated, but he shouldn't be frustrated with himself, man. He did everything he possibly could to try to win that round. There needed to be a couple of more duels, one outside. And Exertion, I don't know how he was able to jump to the call of action right there, playing from Elige in the back of Big Garage, watching that angle on the lurk through Mini. He realized they were trying to counter him, and he swung out wide. There was a chance that he died doing that, but he understood the map. He understood what Mongols were trying to get out of it, and it's his play that saves the day. That kicks off every swing afterwards.
Man, Jimmy committing to that corner as well on half roof. He gets way more than he should exposed to the cross like that.
He definitely could have died. That was both players missing some ammo, for sure.
Yes. When push comes to shove, when the pressure starts to sink in, a pressure that MOUZ know all too well in the most negative sense.
Senzu's just not been a killer today.
No. A non-factor, in fact. 5 kills deep here, 18 rounds into map 2. They're going to go for the fast rush. Into the A site, they'll dive. Down the vent, a problem already served up. Can Jimmy do it again? He will put the smoke up. The MP9 spray is great in terms of damage, but there's no follow-up. There's no move here from Torsi that should be able to hold them back, and with vent already controlled, this is tough.
They can go ahead and try to clear out vent if they want to. They know 910 has gotten control of this, but he's not like a massive threat at the moment. He just slows him down. So.
Exertion signing up for the fight. Pistol inside of the vent. Oh, he turns!
Somehow.
And as Senzu gets cleared out, the vent player also falters. This was the Mongols fighting fire with a fast round downstairs. Huge gamble, huge risk, and a massive payoff for Blitz that just can't be maintained. It's taken away, and MOUZ 2 from the win.
Yeah. Another great chance here for the Mongols. It's a retake that's impressive here for MOUZ, but one that they could still, reasonably expect to be able to pull off. They know they're coming in versus a low buy, a QB sneak down the vent. but they have the protocols. They have the comfortability on this map. They never lose focus or get tunnel visioned here on CT side. So it's been a lot of impressive plays from everyone on MOUZ. I think Exertion has made the most critical moves. And so much rests on this round.
Senzu again put into a position for action. Exertion spots both, and in that moment, the Mongols combine for an opening kill. It's something to work with in round 20. Senzu takes point. CT's layer up. And that vacant A-bomb site to just bolster both outer and ramp. MOUZ trying to play the perimeter here. Keep that trade potential high. The lineup's fantastic, but it's just not there. Brolin, one kill,
there
and Senzu has the action. In an instant, slicing through that defense. We called for him to step it up at a 2K at a critical juncture. A 2v4 left to unfold here for MOUZ, and they will slip Blitz away. Do they take their chance?
They're teaming with confidence right now. And not overpowering with utility, but have a little bit. Jimmy is looking for a route up into heaven, but I don't think there's any way in which they can try to go for this. Seeing what damage they can get. This is Mongols picking up another round.
Better late than never, Senzu.
Yeah, that's like the best we've seen from him so far, and it was two great frags. And, you know, sometimes it's a symptom of seeing the bottom come up in a sense and realizing, well, now I have no choice. Nothing's been working. I might as well play free. And we see that aim that, unfortunately, you know, for the fans that are just watching playoffs, don't get to appreciate. Senzu has had an excellent major up until this point.
I think Brolin also gave him a moment to shine there. That credit card peak could have been the double kill. But it's clean as Brolin's been. That one spray gets away from him for half a second, and he's punished within it. Senzu just seized the moment.
It's crazy how it's a two-round game, and yet it feels like there's very little hope here for the Mongols, even though they won that last round. Again, you can never read their faces and see how they feel about the chances for a comeback, but they have been beasts versus many good teams, including MOUZ. Somehow their game versus Heroic was maybe the most impressive of all. They need to tap into that clutch right now to even see a third map.
Blitz better be careful. There's an op hunting him. One misstep outside. And you're 4v5 again.
Again, these timing spams.
Yep, they've been good. Jimpat doesn't fancy his chances sticking around inside of ramp, understandably, as a 4-player pack from Mongols pushing through. And the Blitz flank through Garage.
Yeah,
Xerxin seems wary, and Torzi remains tucked. But there is still a moment of timing here. Oh, that's killer from Blitz.
Surely Torzi turns and gets this easy frag. Blitz, will he clear this? Whoa, he's holding for this position.
Torzi can't move the moment downstairs. We've got critical fights, but they peek one at a time. And still, 9-10 and Senzu come out with the double kill to control.
It's a 2v2, but a 2v1 and lower. Shuhei's over here on control side.
Yeah, slips down towards the double doors being held here. Up as he swings. Oh, that box saves the day of the planter. Still Shuhei able to deal with the player on the cover first. 9-10 dead. MOUZ maintain control of lower sight. Those 2 kills in control out of Jimmy set up these CTs to clean sweep what's left, and it's 3 match points for MOUZ.
They didn't think about any possibility for someone to be in control, and they got punished for it. A chance to go for that 2-for-1 trade. This time it's blitz to make the key opportunity here for MOUZ. Taking out exertion is worth its weight in gold every time that you can do it. But here you see Jimmy fighting without the double swing coming into his direction. No molly, obviously, because it goes to the stairs. And I think they thought they had zoned him out already. And you can see what this means to MOUZ. 2 comebacks on stage. 5 rounds and 6 rounds in back-to-back maps.
It's lightning fast starts for Mongols, cooled off twice.
And it's not versus tournament favorites, but it does prime them for the matches they have coming up, if we get there, obviously. Because this playoff has, you know, there are just no weak teams in this playoff. The one team that you expect to be here, Na'Vi, that got eliminated in such an, like, I don't want to say predictable way, but with the quality of gameplay that Heroic showed, they earned their spot here. And I think that you could actually say that the better team is here, at least in terms of form at this major. Means this playoff bracket is stacked to the brim.
And MOUZ's nightmare sits on the depths of the other half of the bracket. Begin day 1 on stage with a win. That is what eluded MOUZ in their last major playoff run. Clamped down on by G2 out of the gate, left shattered in Copenhagen. A season that showed them both highs and lows, but that ominous consistency of top 4s in Katowice and Cologne. Top 4, nearly always the end of their road. And the hype around the Mongols is indeed real, but the variation in play that we have had in MOUZ throughout this CT half proves that the Mongols were always going to fight this uphill battle, and they needed Senzu to lead that charge. He was the consistency of this Mongols run. This unthinkable attempt to win in Shanghai has suddenly come crumbling down around them. Techno has put forth his best showing to begin this series on Ancient. Nuke always felt like it was in MOUZ's back pocket. Exceeding all expectations as the conversation about form now comes to a pinnacle, a peak at the end of the season where we now end with majors. The Mongols have had their moments, but that moment comes to the end by the hand of MOUZ. In the battle of the young blood, MOUZ show thicker nerve.